you, informed you of what's happening in the country, the president's activities, his actions, his decisions, as our way of keeping you abreast with issues. So, however, you're following, whether you're listening from the diaspora or you're in the counties or you're any part of the world, we want to thank you for tuning in. And if you're listening via radio, we also want to welcome you to this special edition. The reason why it is special today is in two folds. But first, we'll do our regular briefing. We'll take your questions as we always would. But today is special because we will be joining in with some members of the presidency, particularly our boss, the Deputy Minister for Administration, Honorable Bill McGill Jones. He will come and talk with all of you as well. And we'll have the coordinator of the Office of the Diaspora Affairs, Honorable Erasmus Willems. They both will be contributing and informing you of some of the happenings around the presidency within the executive mansion. That being said, the president have had quite a busy week. And as you know, since his elections into office, all of what he's done over the years has been working in the interest of the Liberian people. This week started off by welcoming, because one of the areas of the administration is to ensure that the business environment, the business community is welcoming and the economy is worked on. The president welcomed the opening of the First Atlantic Bank, where he launched a branch here in Liberia. And the First Atlantic Bank is also into the financial sector. This shows how our country is improving economically. Further to that, he was, the country mourned the loss of the Deputy Grand Mufti, Dr. Abbas Khaneth, who passed away during the course of the week, and our president did mourn him, along with the family members, expressing the government and the people of Liberia's deepest condolences to the family, and ask, as you know, Dr. Khaneth was already laid to rest, and asked for continued prayer and expressed his sympathy on behalf of the Liberian people. Following that, the president, last week when we spoke, I told you all that there are two key sectors that the president is very interested in and concerned about. I mean, there are other sectors, of course, but what he hates is to see schools or hospitals being shut down. You saw the actions of the one he took during the Phoebe situation and requesting the reopening of Phoebe with immediate effect. And this time is University of Liberia. I'm sure last week Moses will recall when he did ask about whether the president was informed about the current situation at the University of Liberia, and I did tell him that yes, the president was briefed by his team and he's been advised and he will take the appropriate actions. So as you saw during the course of the week, the president was clear by ensuring and insisting on the leadership to begin very quickly and immediately with renovation efforts of the campuses of the University of Liberia. As you know, University of Liberia has several campuses, from the medical school to the colleges at Findale, but also in Grand Cape Mount County, the David Estras Technical College. So the president did express very serious concern following a high-level meeting with authorities of the University of Liberia and also other members of his leadership team. And he was very clear with the team that they have to ensure that the campuses of the University of Liberia, they commensurate with modern standards, and that the government have made significant effort in ensuring and contributing to the University of Liberia's upkeep. So he really, really encouraging the administration, because he's very clear on that, administration of the university, to take seriously the renovation efforts. As you know, during the course of the week as well, the president also received letters of credence from 4 ambassadors, the ambassadors of Great Britain, the Kingdom of Great Britain, the Kingdom of Northern Ireland, as well as the Federal Republic of Germany and the ECOWAS Commission. Madam Elizabeth, who served ECOWAS, her tenure ended, and ECOWAS recently did appoint a new replacement, and they all were here during the course of the week to present the letters of credence. And the president was very happy for him seeing countries with interest in being very involved in Liberia and having the missions here and having the ambassadors come to present the letters of credence. It shows on the diplomatic and international front how Liberia is faring and how these countries really are looking at Liberia's diplomatic stance. On yesterday, most of you were here. The president did commissions about 17 judicial officials, marshals, and judges of different courts, including um, Judge. I mean, I wouldn't want to go through all of the names of the 15 marshals because you all follow through and have those information. And those interested, you can still follow through on the Executive Mansion website and affiliated pages. But just for the judges, there are 3 judges who were commissioned yesterday. Judge Nelson B. Chene of the 15 Judicial Circuit Court of River G County, as well as Councillor Tawo Wei, Labor Court Judge for Nimba County, and there were marshals and others who were appointed. Also, yesterday, as you may be aware, the Josephine Nkrumah, that's true, thank you. Madam Josephine Nkrumah from ECOWAS, who served Liberia, and then there was a new ambassador who was commissioned within this week. So last evening, following or part of the commissioning ceremony, some of you were aware that the president did speak in 2 folds. One was the commissioning aspect, but the other was to talk to the country on his current effort on the drug war. And we spent a great deal of time last press briefing to talk about what the president has done over the years since his administration and how he's taking this fight very seriously. And if you listen to His Excellency last evening, he was very, very clear that there will be no sacred cows, whoever you are, wherever you are. Liberia and Liberia's borders will not be used as a transit hub for narcotics and any form of substances that are illegal. So whoever you are, even if you're in administration or not in administration, you're a citizen or affiliate or any context and content of the Republic, if you are in, he's going to go after you and he's going to pursue you based on the law. And the president wants us to reemphasize that to all of you, especially those of you who have helped us consistently to, reach to the larger population of our country, is to reemphasize that the president, the administration is clear. And as you know, this has been unprecedented of the fight, really taking the fight to whatever cartels that are there. And he's not going to relent. He remains steadfast on ensuring that Liberia is clear. Because for him, he said this a number of times, it's not about the next elections. And all of his fight, what he's doing, even if administration members are accused, he takes actions. And it's not about elections, it's about the future generation. And as you know, when he contested in 2017, including in 2023, he was very clear on his fight against drugs. And he's only implementing what he's always had in mind. And Liberia, again, will not be used as a transit hub for any form of narcotic substances because he believes it's really hampering the future of our country. So thank you for all of what you continue to do for Liberia. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your commitment to helping spread the message. And I like to, at this time now, welcome to the podium our Deputy Minister of Administration, but I also like to recognize the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, Honorable Anthony Kessley, and the Assistant Minister for Administration, Honorable Jennifer David Ross. We'd like to welcome all of you for coming in. We just being joined by Honorable Erasmus Williams, who is our coordinator for Diaspora Affairs here in the Office of the President. At a ranking, he likes us to add that a ranking of Deputy Minister. Thank you and welcome, Minister Mage.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And sorry. Thank you so much. And thank you, KULA. It's great to be here this afternoon. But before I start, let me follow the obvious protocol to recognize my colleague, the Honorable Anthony Kessley, the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, the Assistant Minister, the Honorable Erasmus Williams, the Coordinator for Diaspora Affairs in the Office of the President, the Honorable Jennifer David Ross, the Assistant Minister for Administration, and of course, the Honorable Press Secretary, who continues to roll out new activities around the press affairs of the President. And to our people listening in Radio Land and the media. First, I'd like to thank you for having me here today. I know I've been around for the last 16 to 20 months since I joined the Ministry of State from the Ministry of Finance on the 17th of March of this year. It's great to be here, and I want to be very grateful to the President for my preferment, and also to the Minister of State, the Honorable Steve Quia, who is the Chief of Staff as well to the President. Today, we are here to talk about something that is very important to the well-being of our country. And that thing has to do with the growth and development of Liberian young people. When I joined the Ministry of State, in the Minister's wisdom, Minister Samuel Steve Quia, in restructuring the process, the scholarship-related process, he appointed me, along with a few other colleagues on the Presidential Scholarship Committee, to lead that process to move forward. I was fortunate to be appointed with four of my colleagues, namely the Honorable Ora Riches. She's the Ambassador of Life. She's the Vice Chair to the committee. We have Mr. Honorable Erasmus Williams. He's a member. We have Honorable George T. Marshall. He's a member. And Madam Jennifer David Ross, who also a member and support us to lead the secretariat process. Yeah, and Mr. Harrington, also Uriah Harrington, who's also a member on that committee. We got to work to review the process and ensuring that we can continue to provide opportunities for the people of Liberia, especially the young people. So today, our engagement will focus on giving you updates on the scholarship issues and our way forward in terms of our activities that we want to roll out going towards the end of the year and subsequently next year. So just to bring you up to speed, since some of you will be hearing for it for the first time, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs Scholarship Program was launched in December of 2024. It is a merit-based initiative to expand higher education for Liberia's most promising youth. The program continues to make transformative impact on higher education in Liberia. Since its inception, the program has supported over 490 students across 7 counties, 22 colleges across the counties to talk about are the Moserado, Nima County, Bone County, Maigibi, Grand Cru, Maryland, and Lofa, with nearly 100 of them who are expected to graduate this year. And the presidential initiative continues to move that forward to provide opportunity for these young people. The qualification requirement for these scholarships is clear. First, academic. You must have obtained a 3.0 GPA if you're a current student in your school to get it. That's 100% tuition process that we pay for. Second, if you have a 2.5 GPA, but there must be a proven humanitarian needs, people who really looking for it and trying to get this opportunity to get the scholarship. And the third part of it, which is very much uncompromising, is a civil duty. Every beneficiary who benefits from the President's Scholarship must give back to communities. If you are in the county, you are required every month to do community service, working along with the university, working along with the local authorities, that is the city mayors, the superintendent, and that is recorded as part of your process. We want to make this very clear. Even those who got the 3.0 GPA and who have decided not to give back are not being qualified, because the way to do it is that we're not asking you for anything around the scholarship. All we want you to do is the academic excellence, but we also want you to go back to the community and say, as part of this gift I'm getting to educate myself, we want to also make sure that we're making sure that we're doing some work in the community. That will become a benchmark that the other young people following after you can follow. As they go through the scholarship, they can also attain. There are participating institutions per county I would like to talk about. When I said 22 institutions in Maserati, of course, we're dealing with the University of Liberia, the Blue Cross University, the Stella Marie Polytechnics, the AMU University, the UMU, the Mother Patton College of Health Sciences, the Stark University, Smart University, the Notre Dame University, the Clever University, the La Cosa Mobile College, and the AMUZ. So you listen to the Maserati number. It's packed and everything here. In Bone County, we are dealing with two institutions, the Cottington University and the Lutheran University. In Nima, we are dealing with two institutions as well. We are dealing with the Nima County University and the Liberia International Christian College. In Lofa, we are dealing with two, Lofa University and the Free Pentecostal University. In Maigibi, we are dealing with two institutions, the Booker Washington Institute and the Adventist University. In Maryland County, we are dealing with just the Tubman University. And in Grand Cru, we are working with the Grand Cru Technical College. Why is it important for us to talk about this? It's to tell you how transparent this process is. People, the application process to get on the scholarship is normally open. All you need to do is to apply. We don't go to beg, we don't push people, but we make it very visible, from the institution website to the executive mansion website to the executive mansion Facebook page. They're all open in those areas for people to apply, and it's open for all Liberians. Someone will ask, how do you get the money to do this process? And we want to be grateful to the government of Liberia. For the past time since the scholarship started, the government of Liberia have allotted $200,000 annually under the Ministry of State to make sure that deserving Liberians get this opportunity. We also want to be grateful to our partner who started this journey of the Orange Liberia. Orange Liberia has continued to support the presidential scholarship as part of her corporate social responsibility on an annual basis. Currently, we have a 3 years memorandum of understanding with Orange Liberia. We started in 2024, 2025, and by next year, we are already in an advanced stage of negotiating for a new agreement to move forward. What is happening is that this substantial investment is implemented by all of these processes, like we mentioned. Orange is helping us, and together we are making these contributions that continue to ensure that students receive both financial assistance and corporate engagement, reinforcing the national development through education. This year, as part of our engagement, we're engaging with the students first, not just sitting at the top and making a decision, engaging with the students first and coming back to the faculties. And we came out with a program that as of next week, we are launching what we call the inter-university debate. And that's going to be amongst the recipients institutions, all of the institutions I've talked about. It's going to be organized, and it's going to happen from the 13th and the 14th of August at the Eddie Johnson Ministerial Complex. It is organized under the theme Empowering Youth Intellect, Driving National Development, Scholar Arena, where academic excellence is rewarded and intellect inspire the future. The debate will convene nearly 500 of our young people from across the country that will meet here in Monrovia to work. It is designed not just to give, to make them to come and showcase something, but to also do critical thinking, public speaking, right? Civil engagement as they prepare themselves as the next leader of our country. The winners from these debates will be in twofold. There will be individual awards and there will be institutional award. And each of these awards will be presented by His Excellency, the President, on August 24th day during the Flag Day program on whatever place is going to be held. And this will be something that the President has continued to manifest from the day he walked in, just copying after the press secretary. Every time you talk to him, he says to you, I'm not worried about the next elections. I'm worried about the next generation because an educated mind will lead to a developed nation. And that's what he says every morning. He wakes up in the morning, it's about the young people. In the evening, it's about the young people. And every other time, because he believes if we prepare the next batch of our leaders of our country will sit on the next trajectory to move forward. Now, this is the bigger part of it. As part of our engagement and review of the program, we've decided to expand the process. If you listen to the list I called, it was predominantly Monrovia based and everything. And we have to take Liberia out of Monrovia. So now in that quest to do so, we've launched in a very big process where we've done a restructuring, and the steering committee yesterday approved and directed an expansion plan. The steering committee has agreed that the new proposal for our scholarship will now focus on public institutions, and will move out to the counties. And they're going to be in phases. Some of the new institutions that we want to talk to on the public side we're bringing in the public high schools from 10 to 12 grade. We're bringing in technical and vocational educational institutions now onward. Not everyone can have the college degree, but you can graduate from high school, you can do a vocational and technical education, and you can use that skill set to make some ends meet for yourself and your family. Then we're moving to community colleges now across the 15 county. So in the coming intake that we will begin very shortly, there are a few areas we're moving to. In Grand Bassa County, we'll be launching it to the process of the Grand Bassa University. It's coming on board. In Bone County, we're bringing now the Bone County University on board to making sure that the presidential scholarship will be there. In Sino, we're bringing the Sino Community College on board. In Grand Gila, we're bringing the Grand Gila Community College on. In Bombay County, we're bringing the Bombay County University. And in Cape Mount, we are using the Singay, the University of Liberia Singay campus, to bring it on board because that way we can work to ensuring that the young people also there benefit through this process. We're not stopping. As you already know, we're working in Lofa, Nema, Grand Cru, Maryland, and Mayagibby County. So what we're going to do in the existing county, we will increase the numbers in those areas. So that will help us reduce the burden on families and also make sure that some of the kids who cannot afford can make those processes go forward. Last week, I know you heard it, the Ministry of Education launched a new program beginning the new academic year where if your child is in the classes from kindergarten to 6th grade, all you need to do as a parent is to get him or her ready, take them to the school, do the registration, and that child will go to school free of charge. The government of Liberia, under His Excellency, will pay for that. So we are also at the tertiary level. So these are some of the issues that we are bringing from the scholarship committee, and we'll roll it out. So the committee believes that when we do all of these processes, is to support the president's agenda to provide the opportunity for the next generation of our leaders, and also make sure that the financial burdens on our parents, on ourselves, can reduce. And additionally, the scholarship will be able to roll out to these various counties. So what we're doing now, in the coming days, there will be application for the new intake. Like I mentioned to you, about 100% have already informed us that they will be leaving, and because they've completed all of their academic activities. So what we are doing now, we are preparing to bring on a new group of people, but we're going to focus more on the community colleges and in those counties that we mentioned, so that between now and before the end of next year, we can have the 15 counties covered, and then the high school, like I mentioned to you, the high schools will be brought on from 10 to 12th grade, and we'll also have the technical and vocational education. We'll have the different community colleges also coming in at that point. And these will be the public universities, right? We are doing it to restore that trust and confidence. Because a lot of times people say, why do I want to go to UL? Why do I want to go to Tubman University? Why do I want to go to Bon County University when it got cut it on? But if you look at it now comparatively, the same group of people teaching at Cottington and the same group of people teaching at Bon County University in Banga, it's just two different institutions. So we want people to start looking at that, to knowing that the government is not just supporting the private sector, but the government is also supporting her institutions to make sure that the reform and the capability within the institutions are intact. So application will be open very shortly, like I mentioned. It will be posted on the Executive Mansion website, on the Executive Mansion Facebook page, and we encourage all students in the 10 counties to make sure once you met the requirement, eligibility, apply. This is not about who know you. Once you apply, there's a 90+ chance of you getting a scholarship. So with this, we like to talk about it, and we mentioned everything we do is not just through the government budget. There are other institutions that continue to support this scholarship and believe that the work of the president will move them forward. So we like to recognize again one of our corporate sponsors and our long-standing partner, Orange Liberia, who has been with us since the inception of the scholarship. The National Social, the NASCOP has been very much instrumental, continuing to support us. The Liberia Maritime Authority, the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, the National Port Authority, and the Liberia Petroleum and Refining Companies. These companies, these sponsors continue to work with us, and they continue to support our scholarship and the annual activities. In closing, I want to use this opportunity to thank each of you and to thank the president for initiating this life-saving opportunities that many of us during our time in school did not have. And today, I want to use this opportunity to thank the Department of Public Affairs for granting us this opportunity. And I will now thank you and take my seat if there's any question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Minister, for that lengthy presentation. We'll get to the question and answer period shortly, but we want to welcome the Diaspora Office for their presentation, and then we'll transition to the question and answer period. Deal? Thank you.
Standing on existing protocol, I would like to go straight into my release. First of all, I want to extend our profound thanks and appreciation to the press department for providing us the opportunity to use this platform to inform the Liberian people about what's happening in the Office of Diaspora Affairs at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. I want to also thank members of the press for the past time that we've worked together and you continue to disseminate the information. I want to stand on existing protocol and recognize the Deputy Minister for Administration, Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Assistant Minister for Administration, Jennifer Ross. Also want to recognize the Press Secretary and all of you here. Before I begin, I also want to say a special thank you to His Excellency President Joseph Yimambuaka Sr., who have provided us the opportunity and have granted extraordinary priority to the diaspora community, recognizing them as an outstanding permanent partner to national development. And I also want to take this time to say thank you to our Minister of State, Minister Sam Steve Kuya, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the continual work that we all continue to do to represent the interests of the Liberian people out there. Today, we want to formally announce the 2026 Diaspora Annual Conference that is scheduled for Washington, D.C. from the 25th, 26th, and the 27th. Like last year, we had 3 days, September, next month, basically, the month of September. Like last year, we had day 1, day 2 and day 3. This year is going to be the same. However, the theme for this year's conference have shifted from dialogue to deliverable. So we are moving now from conversation to tangibles. So at this year conference, our conversation will focus on how Liberians in the diaspora can start their contribution toward national development and how government can help them strengthen some of the policies that will make it easy for them to actually come and invest. We've had some challenges with that were expressed by people in the diaspora in terms of protection of their investment on the ground and things like that. So those conversations will also be held. Last year conference, we had over 700 people that attended in person. We have over 1,500 people that attended by Zoom and other means. And this year, with the survey that we sent out, we already have about 500 people that have already expressed interest in attending the conference. And what we are also doing, the agenda of the conference is determined by the interests of the people in the diaspora. So we send the survey out, people register and say, this is our concern priority areas. And then during the conference, we discuss that in most of the breakout sessions that we have during the conference. The conference is structured in 2 ways. We have the planning committee and we have the steering committee. The steering committee is chaired by the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, co-chaired by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And we have other ministries and agencies on our steering committee. The planning committee, as you know, is a public-private partnership initiative. It's chaired by members of the diaspora community. We have Ambassador Emmett Dunn, who is the chair, co-chaired by Ambassador Magdala Cooper, political advisors to the president, and Reverend Dr. Francis Tapler, who is vice chair for operation. He's based out of Minnesota. We also have on the committee our partners, the UNDP, the IOM, and other partners out there. So IOM remain our physical agent for the entire diaspora office, representing our interests in most of the different partners and UN network. This year conference, like I mentioned, will be in September. There will be day 1, what will be dialoguing, day 2, investment, and day 3, presidential town hall engagement, where the president will be there and will be discussing other issues that is affecting Liberians in the diaspora. That being said, we also want to take this time to let you know we'll provide the link for people who are in the diaspora and want to register for the conference. They will be able to go there and register online. So we'll provide a link on the image and to other media here present to make that information available. I think so far so good. That's what we have for the 2026 Liberia Diaspora Annual Conference. And then right after the annual conference, we'll be jumping straight into the Diaspora Annual Return in December as usual. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Press Secretary.
Now, thank you all so very much for your patience. We'll now transition to the question. You, like always, you'll state your name, the institution you represent, and your question. We know it's a pack presentation today, so you're allowed to ask me, ask the ministers and the deputy ministers for, or anyone on the panel. You can even ask the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, any public affairs matter, or the Assistant Minister. So yes, please go ahead, state your name and who you want to direct the question to.
Okay, so good afternoon. I am Christofina Pinge-Ganem. I report for Prime FM. My question is directed to the Deputy Minister, Minister Michael Jones, and that of the diaspora representative, Mr. Erasmus Williams. So, to Minister Michael Jones, it's almost like a comment, maybe a question. During the eve of 2016 Pequeno Grand Bassa County, the Youth Advisory Council of Liberia, through their chairman, Mandela Body, they gave a manifesto to the president. And part of that manifesto, they highlighted the issue of Tibet education in Liberia. And it's after that town hall meeting with the president, I was privileged enough to invite him, for interview that his body. He also said, based on the engagement that he had with a lot of you doing the tour in the 15 counties, that was how they came up with that TVET education being the most priority part of the manifesto. So, as is your office working along with the Youth Advisory Council to, spot most of these youth organizations across the counties or across Liberia, who should be awarded the scholarship instead of just people applying through the internet? Probably they might not have the opportunity to have access to the internet based on the rural area and stuff like that. So I just want to know if your office is working.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. We'll take the other.
Thank you so much.
You'll come back to the diaspora
my
office.
My name is
Please,
Maurice
Maurice.
and I report for OKF. It's good to have all of you. So my first question goes to the head of the diaspora group. You talked about people will be attending the conference in New York. First of all, I want to know how many persons will be leaving Liberia and who will be responsible for their trip to and from. And my other questions will go to Mr. McGill Bill Jones. Yes. So you talked about a new scholarship that you'll be launching in few months to come. I want to know exactly how many applicants will you be looking out for, and the previous one that you launched last year. I want to know what sort of report are you getting in terms of performance and then some of the challenges that you are faced with as well.
Thank you. We'll take Daniel and then Stephanie. Daniel. After Daniel, then you. Sorry.
Okay, my name is Daniel, the Fellows Code Report for UFM. And my question goes to Mr. Jones about the scholarship. How long this scholarship has been existing and why the Ministry of State is elevating it at this time?
Thank you. We'll take Steph and then Anthony.
Thank you so much. I'm Stephanie M. Duncan, and I report for the New Republic newspaper. My question is also to Minister Jones. Many thanks to the government for providing free education, but there are sustainability plans for these scholarships.
Great question. Anthony?
Thank you. My name is Anthony Williams. I work for State Radio, and my concerns, I want to address them to Honorable Jones. Sir, there are a few things I wanted us to go over. And some of the institutions you named as part of the scholarship, from my understanding, some of these institutions are boarding institutions. Are there concerns about accommodation for the students? And also, are there financial assistance opportunities for them while they're schooling? And then let's talk about those ones also who will be completing the the scholarship, they'll be coming out. Are there opportunities to ensure that they can perfect what they've learned in school in speaking about job opportunities and how government intends to accommodate them into the professional environment? That's the second concern. And also you spoke about community service. Some of these students, as per the usual perception of our community service, they will do the usual cleanup things, that we see from the youth and sports and other areas, join the community and provide services. But some of these students also, while they're in school, they come up with innovations and ideas. Are there plans to support some of these innovations and ideas that they will come up with to ensure that these partly innovations and ideas can also be brought into government and society to contribute largely to the country? Thank you.
Okay, so we'll allow the ministers to respond, and then we'll come back to another batch of questions. So please jot down your questions, and they're here to answer them.
Thank you. And I think the questions are very good. And I want to thank everyone. Let me start with the first one about the Youth Council. The reason I was smiling was that the minister, since I joined the ministry, has appointed me as the focus person for the Youth Council. So to your question, yes, every activity of the Youth Council. So we have a standard meeting period between they and myself. We meet regularly. We speak about issues, their programs, their activities come through us, and we forward them up to the minister, and then there are other actions taken. So we've been working in terms of the TVET process. One of the work we've done that we mentioned in a statement was that TVET education is not just, we're not just trying to tie it to people in the urban area. In the rural part of the community, that's what I would say in our decentralization plan, TVET will be very strong. When you listen to the president, who is a brainchild of this scholarship, he's very clear about why we should move beyond just the formal education sector to provide some technical part, right? So yes, the plan from the Youth Council is also very, so as part of our process with the scholarship committee, there will be engagement. There have been engagement with the Youth Council. In fact, they submitted a lot of different proposals. Just before the July tournament, they submitted about 7 different proposals following their engagement across the country with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and they brought it in. So we are looking at some of those proposals. So there's a huge link of collaborations here. They are advisors. And so what they're going to do is that they come up with the ideas, and some of them you'll see them rolling it out, and some of them they will partner with the different ministries and agencies to roll out those processes because they're advising the president on some of the issues and the needs of the young people. In terms of challenges or the rollout of the new program, it's something that when I say we review the scope, the current scope of the program, right? It was more like a Monrovia based when you listen to the name of the institutions that we talked about. And if I give you the number just in Monrovia, out of the 490 students, out of the whole 490 students, we have about 370 of them in Moserado County, right here in Monrovia. So if our decentralization plan is to move away a little bit, right? Go out. There's a need out there in Grand Crew, in Maryland, in Grand Gila. You listen to the new areas I talked about. So the new process will be moving out there. Of course, in all of these areas, we want to, in fact, go to the point where we can take care of all of the community colleges across the country. Funding will be a challenge, right? We don't have the funding to give everyone the opportunity. So that's where we're saying the opportunity will be there. So when they put out the link and someone asks about the application process, it's not just going to be electronic. So we gave out the copies of the application and forms to the different technical institutions across the country, and also the TVET institutions, and then the community colleges. Like I said, next year is when we're moving towards the high school component. So this year, as we move out into the new intake, we're going to be doing all of that process. Why should I be posted on the e-marshals? We're also doing a robust media engagement process to it, where we can work with some of the bloggers, we can work with some of the social media individual personalities. They can help to promote this process, because we don't want it to be something where we're going to take someone to come in. Then there will be a bias. They want to bring someone themselves. We want it to be voluntary, so that when we post it, if you know that you have a need, you want to advance your education, you can take advantage of it. Look at the requirements. So most of the people who have been coming through are some of the people who are already in school, right? So they're already in school. They have the GPA there. If you're not in school yet and you want to get started, it's also an opportunity. All you need to do is to apply, and you put all of the information there. and you should be in a pop down. The focus of the scholarship is going toward public institution, while we maintain the current team, the current scholars we have in the different private institutions. We're not telling them no, we're not going to pay your tuition, no, but we put more premium now towards public institutions, towards supporting that point. Someone asked for how long and why now. In my conversation, I said that the scholarship was launched in December of 2024. Why now? Like I said, there's already a readjustment in the way we're doing the scholarship. So coming up, it's not been a secret thing. The president launched it in December of 2024, and it was a widespread process. That's how Orange Liberia came in, and other people came in. It's been moving out, right? It's been out there. Maybe you haven't had the opportunity to see it, but we want to make sure now that going forward, this regular engagement with the media and all these different points, the different activities that we're doing, the inter-university debate next week for the recipients, is something. This activity will bring you up to speed about the presidential scholarship, and the recipients will give you their own success story. I know someone talk about sustainability. Yes, the government of Liberia is committed to it. That's why over the last 2.5 years now, the government has made available every fiscal year 200,000, and we reach out. As the need grows from one point to another, we will continue to knock on doors. We'll continue to knock on doors, whether in the private sector, like you heard me talk about corporate sponsors. We'll continue knocking, even individuals who believe that this initiative is very impactful and want to make a contribution. You can walk up to the Ministry of State, right, and make a personal contribution. Say, I believe this is impacting people and it's giving back, so I want to make a contribution. So it's there. So the sustainability plan is clear. We got it's going through the government budget process, and plus any additions that come on every year. In terms of the boarding and the assistant thing, yes. So the institution, the Boko Washington, people are in, so they have their tuitions and everything embedded into it. So it goes from that point. If you are in the academic process where we got 100% tuition, it's tuition. So then you get in that point. So if there are issues where we have to take care of personal issues like assistantship, the scholarship is always open to listen to our people. That's why we have a regular engagement. We have a chat room. They have their own set of leadership at every level of the different institutions. So they develop their own issues, bring it up towards the technical committee that is headed by the M&E department here and in the Ministry of State, and then it comes up to the steering committee. So there's a regular engagement with the students and moving forward. In terms of onboarding and process, we have started this process, and as I speak to you, we have a plan now engaging with the civil service again. Last year, the civil service and all have been working on the process. So a lot of the students who are going to be leaving the opportunities right now, we've graduated more than 90+% who've sent a scholarship started. About close to 100+ person will be leaving this year. So right now we're doing as part of the internship program. That's why the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the new programs they have created, they're very instrumental. We're working with them to build a partnership so that a lot of our young people who live in the program can go through the cadet program. They can go through we want to talk to the president, young professional people too as well. All those different institutions to bring down our private sector people. Orange, Liberia has also been providing some opportunity for internship. The Ministry of Labor. So it's going to be a give and prepare. That's why we're building a holistic process, not just leaving a student around, so that when these students leaving, their opportunity. Even here at the Ministry of State, we are creating now a pathway where they can come in to intern, and then later on, some of them can get absorbed through the process. So it's going through the process. I know you know about the press secretary internship program that they launched. There's a lot of process going through. We're thinking about a bigger one. The Ministry of Finance as well is running something. When we were there, we rolled out that process for internship, and it's still moving forward, and we want to do it. So our goal is to set the next group of generational leaders so that they can have all the tools and opportunities they need to move forward. Thank you.
Well, I think my question was simple about the attendance, how many people were attending the conference, and who's responsible. So the conference attendance coming twofold. We have the public sector, the private sector. So we have government officials who are playing significant role from different ministries and agencies the government of Liberia is providing funding for initial seed money for the conference. We're also raising funds out there from our partners, the UN and other network, and then the business community is also contributing towards that. Members who are part of the committee, okay, some of their travel expense will be covered depending on the role they're playing. Some of the members on the committee, and some of the members are actually paying their own way. We also have some partners and good business friends that have volunteered to underwrite some costs for some strategic players that will be, playing some role. For example, last year conference, we had a guest speaker that came from Rwanda, and his cost was, underwritten by someone else, one of our partners. Someone that will come in, buy plane tickets and stuff like that. So when we do all of our budgeting and looking at what we have constraints, we put out requests, and our partner come in and say, okay, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. In terms of actual number, the conference is open. I mean, anybody who have the ability to underwrite their own travel can be able to go. But in terms of as a committee, we cannot give you an exact amount of people from the committee because we are still in the planning stage. And as we shape the agenda, it brings about additional priorities of key sectors that will need strategic people to be able to attend the conference. Thank you.
Thank you. We will go another round of questioning. I saw a lot of hands up. So this could be the final rounds. We'll start from the back. We'll start from Yugbene. His hand was up first. Where's the mic? Can someone pass the mic? From Yugbene, we'll take Moses, and then we'll take Lois, and then we'll come to Prince. Ojuku, I see your hands here. Yeah, we'll take your questions. Please just jot down those questions. And yes, Yugbene.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam PPS. My name is Yugbene Masale, and I work for Sky Communications, Sky FM, Sky Television. My question is in twofold. One for Minister McGill and other for, I can say, Minister Erasmus P. Williams.
So I will encourage you to keep your questions short so that others can have the time to.
I would like to commend the government of giving free education to the primary sector. And I would like to know from Minister McGill as to whether there will be financial assistance for students because they have a scholarship. Scholarship is for scholars. Okay, we have some people that do not reach to that benchmark that have been set up by Minister McGill.
The committee.
Okay, so I would like to know as to whether we have a benchmark, a financial assistance for others who would like to participate into the scholarship fund drive.
Okay.
All right.
The next
then
question.
to Minister Williams. Minister Williams, last year you have this Liberian Diaspora Conference there in Washington, D.C. Started from the 26th of September upwards. So I would like to know how many persons do you expect to participate in this 2026 Diaspora Conference there in New York City? And I would also like to know who could be the guest speaker. Yeah, the guest speaker for the conference. I would like to know that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lois.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Lois Baby, and I'm both from Posh TV and Posh Radio. My first question is to the Minister Jones. You talked about the community service that which is made tutorate for recipients. And then my question is, what kind of mechanism have you guys put in place to monitor those process that those in the rural community are, delivering to their community the services that require of them based on the scholarship?
So
and my second question goes to the minister, for the diaspora office, and many members of the diaspora has expressed concern about investment security and to ease those who want to do business in our country. what specific reforms or government initiative are being introduced to address concern or encourage greater diaspora investment in Liberia? So some of the reforms that you guys have put in place to help.
Thank you. Thank you, Lois. Moses?
Thank you, Madam PPS. And my questions are directed to you, Madam PPS, and the Deputy Minister, Honorable McGill. I sat quietly, first, Mr. Minister, the scholarship we are talking about, is it across all levels of tertiary education? I mean, undergrad, graduate, and postgraduate. Also, I heard you talk about monitoring those who will be successful. Are there timeline for which one who is accepted in the program would have to stay in if, outside of that, he or she will not benefit? That is, are you going to give anybody, for example, in a undergrad, 4 years, or what's the timeline? Just to put it that way. Also, Madam PPS, thanks for, again, the president for what he's done at the UL. Part of the concerns that is being raised is that there are outstanding issues with social security, which the faculty and staff have considered very key to their demands. The release did not actually address that, instead focused on the renovation of the university. Is that the compensation for, is that the initial, we say it is the initial action of the president, or it is the understanding of the president that once this is done, then we can move on to how the university. And lastly, sorry, the president, when he spoke yesterday, was very firm on drug. I was a big concern about what he said about what he said about quotes that the court should not be used as a place for where drug traffickers, I would not say verbatim, but where people who are involved in drug trafficking or drug will be used as a door where they just walk in and get out. I was wondering as to whether the president was or has a doubt or is thinking that the courts are involved or is part basically of what is happening, especially in this drug trade. And it's explicitly stated in his statement.
Yes. Thank you. We'll take yes, you and then Ojuku.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Bosch Fabali. Once I write for the Postal Telegraph Online newspaper. My question goes to Mr. Jones. Are there plans to work with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, county leadership, or other youth groups concerning this scholarship? My next question is, are there plans for this to be a national agenda instead of a political accomplishment? And then I would like to encourage this committee to at least.
Do you mean your question was, is it on a, no, your question whether it's a national agenda or political agenda?
Okay. To be a national agenda for this, to be a national agenda instead of a political accomplishment.
But did he say this was a political accomplishment? Anyways, he will answer the question. He will answer the question.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
And I also encourage this committee to work harder to promote at least females, young females, to take part in this program. Thank you.
Say that again. You're encouraging the committee to awareness to have females. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. On the scholarship, so that they can. It's on the scholarship, right? Okay. Yes, so Juku.
Yes, I'm Ochu.
Oh,
Say what I read from the Happening newspaper. My first question goes to President. It's a few days ago, the president announced quite a lengthy ban I would like to know if that pay is for Liberian or for foreigners. And my second question goes to the minister, Minister McGill. I would like to know if the scholarship is internal or external, really limited Liberian or is not overseas project operation. My third question is there anyone that will apply will benefit?
You said 90% chance.
Yes,
Mhm.
it will be impartial. I would like to know if the scholarship is power believing scholarship.
Is what?
Is it power believing?
Bible believing?
Scholarship. Look at innovation.
Oh, okay. Please, Minister, please write that Bible believing so you don't forget what it means. Prince has the floor to ask his question.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Prince.
My name is Prince Sa and I report for the newspaper. My question is directed to PBS. My PBS, every time Mr. President speaks about the job issues, he speaks with seriousness and anger. I want to know, what is the president hearing? Is he disappointed by some of the names he's hearing, if any? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any? I want to make sure we cover all the for your CPPS. Give us Yukmene, you want to ask one more? Oh, okay. Oh, you're stopping Yukmene for all right. So I will have the minister to come and respond, and then we'll close up on the part from me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and I appreciate this engagement and everything. So I will start with the last question that came to me, and then go up to the first. In terms of our plan to work with the Minister of Youth and Sports and the county leadership, it's already an ongoing process. As you all know, the Anthony Croix was in this seat. I'm sitting in now. She started this process. So there's no way we can let it go without her being involved or working across. With the level of work she has done at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, moving the institutions from one point to another, there's already a synergy between the Ministry of Youth and Sport, the Office of the President, towards this initiative. So yes, we are working tirelessly as two institutions on different angles to making sure that these opportunities are available for the young people of Liberia. Someone asked whether it was a national agenda or political issue. This is not. If it was a political issue, you will see we'll put the Unity Party emblem on it, but that's not the case. It is a national process for Liberians, open, void of politics, void of your personal views and everything. All we want you to do as a Liberian is to take opportunity of this, because if you once we build your capacity, that capacity will help to build our nation. In terms of including females, I think the next engagement will give you the statistics, but my first engagement with the scholarship recipients, I saw a very huge number of female more than the male. So it speaks to the level of appetite that are there. So I'm really hoping that most of our ladies, our sisters, can take advantage of these opportunities. In terms of the Bible believing thing, it's a funny one, because the president that we have today is now, is not looking one way in terms of how he moved the country. This is an open process. People are free to choose the discipline they want to study, and they are doing it by their own volition and their passion on what they want to pursue. In terms of the limitation of the scholarship, it's limited to honor grads, and in Liberia only. The Ministry of Education is working with the bilateral scholarships that come, that they will advertise every time, and that people apply to. For this presidential scholarship, it's locally, and we're supporting our people locally to get it, the first level of education and moving forward. Community service, in terms of the qualification requirement. In my statement, I was very clear. The academic 3.0 is something for people who got 100% scholarship to do it. That's the tuition component. But there's also a 2.5 GPA component. And that way we do the due diligence on that part because you have to show that there's actually a need. So our people will do, they wouldn't talk to you when you present the case. We'll go back to those communities, we'll talk to the institutions, people will engage with your community and we'll get to know whether you really need this opportunity. Because what we're trying to do is not just prepare you to remain down here in Liberia. A lot of the universities outside the borders of our country, if you want to get admitted to graduate programs, they require 3.0 GPA. So we're trying to prepare you so that when there are opportunities, whether it's bilateral or personal scholarships that are available, your GPA will already be at that point. So a lot of the time, our encouragement, our engagement with the young people on the scholarship is that this is not to slow you down. It's to make you that as soon as you graduate, you have an opportunity to apply for bigger opportunity out there in terms of moving ahead with your master's and even doctorate. Because a lot of those areas will not allow you with a 2.5 or 2.2, 2.3 in those different areas. So it's a process of making it to stand up. The community service part is something that we want them to know that why is true that the government is doing this through the president for you to go to school, but you have a sense of responsibility. Take 10 hours in a month. Work with the city government, the university, and other places to design some program. It may not be for you to go and clean up grass. It could be some awareness related thing. There could be some issues going on in the community that now will have the drug situation. So they could collaborate with the local DEAs in those counties to create awareness. Why is it important for the young people to stay away from the drugs? It's part of your service. The community could be organizing a bigger cleanup campaign in your location. Join them. So we do that because the student who's getting on the program, so they have that sense that, hey, while I'm getting this, there's a need for me to look back. Because if you don't go to the community with that sense that I need to go look back, then it creates that point where, okay, I'm just moving forward. I don't need to look behind me. But you're moving, there's a lot of things dropping up. How can we clean it up to move forward? Yeah, so it's clear the humanitarian component is there. We do a lot of due diligence on it to make sure that people get it. But the scholarship has 3 criteria: the 3.0 GPA, the 2.5, and the community service. When you into it, we emphasize on the community service because we want you to do it. In terms of the financial assistance for those who don't meet the requirement, the 2.5 address it, right? So we engage with them. If you don't have the academic qualification of the 2.5, of the 3.0, but you're in the 2.5, 2.4 in that point, there are a lot of issues around it, but we try to stick to the 2.5 so that we keep it as a way of merit, right? The merit component is what we don't want to lose. Because in our country, people quick to turn it into, it's a political process. And that's why we're making it very transparent so that people who, even in this ministry, their kids, their other people apply, they didn't get the GPA and they didn't get the scholarship. So it's an open process. It's very much clear. And when we do the due diligence, it's a no sorrowful thing. We'll do it and communicate to you, okay, what we asking you to do, you want to get on the next semester, get better grades, put more time, study. If you are on it, to continue that process, remain there. And then someone asked about the timing. So if we are giving you 15 credits per semester, right? The aggregate time, the average time you take in the university is between 3.5 to 4 years and have 15 credits to finish. We're not going to allow someone to do 5 credits because you want to stay in the university for that longer period of time. No, there's no time. So we're supporting you. The average university will tell you is either minimum 15 or maximum 18. If you're doing 21 credit, that means you're very brilliant, you're scoring more than a 3.0 and plus, and you have the fiscal space. But what we can do right now is to give you 15 credits every semester once you have your 3.0 and your 2.5 with a better need that is being verified to move forward. So it's a process, it's open, very transparent, and people you're going to see it. We're going to invite the media to come and see some of the process when we receive the applications. It's a database that will go to, not human interaction, electronic, and they will come out with the information. So thank you.
I asked about the monitoring process. How you monitor
You said the what?
I asked how the community service is being monitored to show that it's being closed.
So this is one of our team is in twofold. We have a relationship, like we said, with the different institutions where the students are. So for instance, at Tottenham University, The Tubman University Dean for Student Services, along with our team from the MAE unit here, will collaborate. And we might not be there at every time the community service is happening, but the Tubman University will also monitor that process as a parent institution that hosts the student, give us a report and everything about it with a sign-in sheet on that day. If we have 15 students there, all 15 are there except for emergency case that we are informed prior or that happen that that student cannot be part of it. But if you miss the process 1, 2, 3 times in a semester, that's a red flag. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Time is fast spent. I hear a lot of people talking about the conference in New York. The conference is actually in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., United States of America. September 25th, 26th, and the 27th, Washington, D.C. area. So, like I mentioned, last year conference, we projected to have about 400 to 500 people, and we exceeded 700 people. This year conference, we are projecting to have 700 people, but as of now, we already have over 500 persons that have registered for the conference. That is without the formal announcement that we are doing now. So as we have done this announcement now, when we post the link, and then next week, when we go to the MICA press and we'll continue to push this out with all of your collective involvement, we will probably exceed that benchmark, but that's what we're working with because the physical space at the hotel can accommodate that. And then you talk about security for business people, concerns.
The reform process that encourage more diaspora to invest because so that they complain about the security of their investment in the country. What are some of the initiatives that the government are put in place to help that investment is well protected?
Okay. Okay, so we are working with the National Investment Commission. We're also working with the Ministry of Justice. I think some of you, it's a public thing now about the whole Millennium Corporation, where people from the diaspora have invested in some properties around the SKD, around the Marshall area, and they had challenges in getting the property back. So that has been expedited at the level of the president. The president has been instructed a team to work on investigating that matter to bring it to closure so that the people can have the property. But there are other policies shifts that are being worked on currently with the Ministry of Justice and our collective input to that process that will help assure people that when they invest in the country, they can have protection of their investment. And that is key because it's all about building trust. And that's what the first day of the conference, it will be focused on that particular initiative. Because if you're saying, I should come and invest, I should come back in the country, and my brother invested and he or she cannot get, whatever they invested in, that will be mistrust. So we are working on that as a government, and it's all hands on deck. But trust is our first step as a government. Thank you.
I asked about the guest speaker that I've selected from somebody we have earmarked to serve as guest speaker on that occasion, and also the feedback that you have gotten from last year's conference.
So the president is the official kick-off person of the conference. He is there. He will be encouraging Liberians to come back home. The feedback from the conference is people are very excited. Some people have expressed concern that they were not aware of the conference. So we are trying to do more into the media to push the information out there. And also we are working on plans to rotate the conference, not just in the United States. So, but people want to sit with the government to discuss and be part of nation building. There are other good developments, but it's not mature right now to disclose that. But our people in the diaspora will be happy. Thank you so much, member of the press.
Thank you very much to our guests who will concluding now shortly. But there were a few questions that were asked to me, particularly from Moses and Prince, I think, and Ojuku or someone else. So on the University of Liberia, yes, as you've seen, the president's initial action, that is the initial action, because by now the expectation was that renovation works would have started. As you know, the government has contributed significantly to the University of Liberia for renovation works, and the president hopes that that particular one is non-negotiable, that should like take place like yesterday. As to other actions, of course, it's not just one of an action. There's several other actions that the president's team have been briefing the president on what they're doing. As you know, the the presidential advisor, specifically Dr. Augustine Kone, is the president's representative to the University of Liberia, and he's been updating His Excellency on the different actions and what's happening. But I want to let you know, to inform the community of the University of Liberia, that is a very active discussion ongoing, and the president hopes that this discussion can really go on very fast so that the University of Liberia can reopen as soon as possible. As I mentioned, he is also very concerned about the university and its closure, especially if it's not regular academic closure, but the closure as per the faculty's decision. So he really wants all issues be resolved and that students can go back to school as soon as possible. As to the question of the courts, and whether the president doubt the judiciary, the president's speech was a sound of caution to encourage all branches of government, whether it's the judiciary, the legislature, or anyone, even the Liberian people, because if you listen to the president's address, clearly, he was very clear as to his stance and in showing that everyone should be on board, especially taking this menace out of our country. So his comment as to the court, because you know the occasion was also a commissioning ceremony of judges and marshal, especially judicial officers. So the occasion was appropriate to encourage judges, to encourage members of the judiciary to also be very clear and very steadfast when it comes to investigation relating to drugs and other narcotic substances, and making sure that Liberia does not become a border point for narcotic, especially the courts playing a key role in the entire conversation. So once the executive does her part of arrest, indictment, and everything, then sending them to the court is the final side of the investigation, where indictment will be brought down, or guilty verdict, and even if a jail term, or implementing what the law says. So that is why, because the court play a critical role in the whole conversation, that is why the president emphasized of their unbiased involvement in ensuring that the law takes its course, because this is a very, very serious situation in our country, and he takes it very, very seriously. So there's no aspect of doubt. The president does not doubt the judiciary, but it was sound of encouragement and caution so that everyone should work together. I think Ojuku asked about the ownership of the First Atlantic Bank. It's not a Liberian-owned bank, but Liberia is coming to Liberia. It's a regional bank. Is based in Ghana, in Accra, and it has several branches across Ghana, but also in other African countries. So Liberia is becoming one of the hosts, or has become one of the hosts. It shows that international banks and financial institutions are interested in Liberia. It shows that the economy is getting better, and that our country, other banks are seeing that, because if you invest your resources in Liberia, you will get your returns on your benefit. In fact, just piggybacking on the previous conversation around diaspora investment, I think this is to show to the world that Liberia is safe to invest. That's why banking institutions are interested in coming to Liberia, by example of the First Atlantic Bank branch coming to Liberia. So yes, it may not be a Liberian bank, but now that it's here, you will definitely have officials and leadership members, and even workers and tellers and business people will all be involved actively in those investments. The question on drug issue, why the president keep emphasizing on drug issue, whether the president is disappointed, or what is he hearing or whatnot. I mean, I think we've had this conversation before in time past as to the importance our president put on this situation. He did that during the course of the campaign, because he saw that the issue of drug is a really major problem in our country, in our continent, by his own stance when he took office, his first thing was to take the drug test. Next thing, encourage other members of the government, set up a task force. And you've seen in the last few months, in fact, one thing as journalists, in terms of understanding the narrative, is what's important. And we've talked about this. The reason why you're seeing all of this effort is because of the president's deliberate actions. You see, the information coming up, the arrest made, officials of government being suspended or sacked or, removed and forwarded. It shows that the president takes this very, very seriously. I mean, I'll just connect this to, for example, an example. During the Madam Sirleaf administration, there were lots of conversation around the aspect of sexual gender-based violence. In time past, it was a taboo subject. It didn't mean that it wasn't happening, but things were under the covers. People were not brave enough to talk about it. But during Madam Sirleaf, you saw the bill, the rape bill was passed, the law was in place, people were being arrested, there were institutions put in place. That's why you heard a lot of protection. People came out to speak up. It was no longer a family business, and the awareness was out there. That is why you've seen since this administration getting in place. So it's really not about the process that is so much here now. No, it's not that. It's that the laws that have been put in place. And the president have changed the leadership of the LDA on several occasions. When it came, the first group were there were issues, they removed that group. Another group came, he removed them, and now another group. So it shows his continuous interest that he's not going to take this lightly. That's why he said countless times, you can even be whoever to him. He takes it very, very seriously. That's why you have his people, his team, his security team, whether it's the National Security Office, is the Executive Protection Service, is the National Police, is the LDEA, is the NSA, and all segments of the security apparatuses. That's why you see all hands on deck. So anyone involved, friends, relatives, or whoever is involved, he's coming after you because he's very serious about it. It's not that he doubted, but good thing is, and you listened to him yesterday, he praised the workings of the security sector. There's no longer compromising, so it shows that a lot of work is happening within the sector. That's why you're having all these bursts. That's why you're having all these investigations happening. And it's not going to stop until Liberia becomes free of this. And if you go, some of us who live in the communities, you see places that used to be full of ghettos, you don't see them anymore. Places you had the young people, it doesn't mean that there are no Zogos in our communities, but you don't see how organized or structured. You don't see them well stationed. You go to ghettos that are no longer active ghettos. You will see because there have been consistent effort, and deliberately he himself, not even through budgetary support, initially he himself contributed to the LDA by providing pickups, vehicles to them, and other subsistence and other assistances, including ensuring that their budgetary allocation, increased budgetary allocation. So it means he takes it very seriously, and it is because of his work. That is why you're seeing these results. The results of the seizure, the burst, the burning, the firing, and ensuring that he meets regularly and gets updates from his security teams. So thank you all so very much for coming. And we want to thank the Deputy Minister, the Office of the Diaspora, the Assistant Minister, and earlier on, the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs was here. And we'd like to thank all of you for coming. We hopefully we can do this as often as we can, as time permits, to talk about some of the things that the ministry is doing around the presidency and ensuring providing support. I just want to announce, the Deputy Minister did talk about it on the debate that's happening soon, because before we come back here, we'll already be in the debate mode because the next press briefing is on Friday. But as he mentioned, I just want to re-emphasize, there's going to be a inter-university debate between our scholarship recipients of the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, and the debate will be on August 13 to 14 at the EJS Ministerial Complex in Congo Town, beginning 9 in the morning. And this will cover nearly 22 universities across Liberia, not just Montserrat. So we trust our young people in the counties, and this is the president's way of bringing up academic excellence, so that as you're part of this, you can also stand up and talk about different issues. And we encourage the debaters to really be far-reaching and think of strategic topics that are of national concern, that you can talk about it and the judges will be very impressed. And also the judges will be very impartial. And again, we'd like to ensure and inform you that this will be a very transparent and impartial process. And the winners will be awarded, as they mentioned, on the Flag Day, August 24th, at the official occasion where they will be recognized by His Excellency President Joseph Imam Boakai. Thank you all so very kindly. I look forward to connecting with you when we meet next. Have a good afternoon. They say Friday for everybody. Have a best day. Bye-bye.